Welcome to the Bard of All Trades podcast. I'm your host, Brad the Bard, and today I have the Berserker, Alex Myers from SAGA BJJ with me. And before we get started, I just want to shout out my sponsors. Firstly, SAGA BJJ. If you guys want to go over to SAGA BJJ in Hatboro, Pennsylvania to train with this monster, you can definitely go over there. Mention me and you get a week for free of learning how to beat people up. So check that out. Also, same deal over at Valley Jiu-Jitsu in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Make sure you check them out. Mention me, you get a week for free of learning how to beat people up. Also, BNB Media, if you guys want any help with your production or you want to live stream an event, reach out and we will take care of you. Finally, darklegacy.net. If you guys are interested in creative writing, sci-fi, and horror, there's some incredible stuff in their website, so make sure you go check them out. And finally, giant shout out to my Patreon subscribers, Sam and Chris. Thank you very much. What's up, man?
What's up, dude? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Dude, so I've had like just about all the black belts from SAGA that I could get.
I think you're missing like one.
Yeah, right. Made as like apparently like a hard one to grab.
Yeah, very elusive. Yeah, the Grandmaster.
Yeah, for sure. So you started out at that location back when it was Paper Street, right?
Yeah, so pretty much how I ended up my whole like jiu-jitsu MMA adventure.
Yeah, man. So tell me the whole background and let's hear it.
I grew up, my mom had me and my older brother wrestle when we were kids. Her brother wrestled. He was like state qualifier out of Downingtown or whatever. So she pretty much got us involved in that. My dad was a college athlete, played football at Del Val for a couple of years. And yeah, so we just grew up playing sports, and I was wrestling. My high school career ended 2009. I was a state medalist, and then I joined the Army immediately after that. So I joined the National Guard. I left for basic training 12 days after I graduated high school. Nice. So it was like the fastest I could go away, I went away.
Yeah.
And like like when I was in basic, I was like, oh yeah, I love this. Like waking up. Mm-hmm. Being active, doing the whole nine, like that whole shit, that active duty Army lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So when I came home and I was like, shit, I don't have that because I joined the Guard. So it's like a part-time job.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, I was in the Guard as well. So I can definitely relate.
I was kind of like lost. Yeah. I didn't really have much. I was like, tried going to community college, didn't work out. Not much of a student. Ended up working for my dad. I had like really no athletic endeavor in my life anymore. Did that for like 2 years. So I was like 19, 20. Yeah. And then 2011 came around, and my brother graduated high school. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to I'm pretty sure he told this story. We ended up going to a judo school owned by a bunch of Russians.
Yeah.
So we were doing that, and it wasn't really filling the gap for either of us. So then he was getting ready to go away to college. So I was like, you know what? I'll give college another try.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to Penn College in Williamsport, and they had a club wrestling team. So I wrestled there for a semester. I loved it. I was happy to be back. But being a 21-year-old college freshman doesn't really work out.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had like a 1.0 GPA, 8 Coors Lights a night or whatever you want. But never missed practice, would always like loved wrestling again. So I came home, and I was like, you know what? I need to find something. And at this time I was already like an MMA fan and everything, so I was like, I really think I could do that. Like I don't know why you ever think you can do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, I want to fucking do it. Like I'm gonna try. So this guy we wrestled with in high school, who actually grew up around the corner from us, was training there, and he's like, you got to come check out this gym, it's right in Hatboro. I was like, all right, I'll come down. So I dropped out at this point. I was back at home working for my dad. And yeah, I went and checked it out. And Jason, we were in a little basement at that point, and it was Jay. And if you ever met Jay, Jay's like 5'3", 135 pounds. You know, like,
many times,
I walk in, he's like, what the fuck, dude? But he's like, come on. And, I was there. I was like one of his first students to sign up after he had opened the school. And kind of just started from there, yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
I had my first fight 2000. I had my first amateur fight in 2012.
So you were like a white belt at that time?
Yeah. I was a white belt for a while.
Yeah.
I was a blue belt for a while too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was training for about 9 to 10 months before I had my first MMA fight.
Nice, man. So you knew you wanted the MMA route in the beginning there. Like, that
Yeah.
was no question.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what you
That
were
was what I wanted
training
to do.
intentionally
Like, I was
for.
like, I need that.
Yeah.
Like, I like the jiu-jitsu, but I was there
You
to
had a
fight.
goal,
Yeah,
of
I was like
course,
there
yeah.
to fight MMA. So I had my first fight in July of 2012, 2013, something like that. I lost by guillotine. I was killing the dude with my wrestling in the first round. Shot a bad double at the end. I think there was about 15 to 20 seconds left.
Damn.
Shot a bad double at the end of the second round and got guillotine choked. So ever since then, I was like, never again. And luckily, if any of you have ever rolled my brother, I know you have. His guillotine's phenomenal. So since then,
beast mode.
guillotine events skyrocketed out of personal anguish from that event.
For sure.
So, I had that fight, and then immediately following that, I found out I was getting deployed to Afghanistan. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I ended up being in Afghanistan all of 2014, which was a great experience.
What was your MLS?
For my deployment, I was 12 November. So, my job was like a heavy equipment operator.
Okay.
So, we were initially doing mainly the teardown of all the bases that we had built.
Yeah.
Over the ensuing,
like,
or the past 14 years.
Yeah.
That we've been there, because that was the initial shutdown.
Yeah.
Which is funny looking back. That didn't happen until 2021.
Right.
But
Yeah. For real.
it's kind of wild. But so I was there for a year, so that kind of put a halt on everything. But the whole time I was gone, I was like, all I want to do is get back and train again. Like I want to fight again, because you have one fight and you lose, and it's like you're either. You look at yourself and you're like, man, that fucking sucked. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, that wasn't for me.
Or you look at it and you're like,
I need
to get out there and do it. Like, I need to get back on the horse and try again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I said I wanted to do this, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to try and do it. And the whole time I was gone, I was just like, I need to get back. I need to train. I need to get back. I need to train. I need to get back. So I came back, and I'm trying to think how long I was back before I had my first fight. I think it might have been a whole, like, almost a year after I came back. Like, it was like 2015. But I fought, same promotion, XCC, Southampton Road Armory, actually, which is funny. And I won by mounted guillotine in the second round.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. And after that, I was like, you know what? I want to fight again. Like, I was like, all right, I did it twice. I'm 1-1. I was like, let's get a winning record. Let's keep going with this.
Let's increase the KD spread, right?
Yeah, so then I kept fighting, and I fought down in Delaware for Stellar Fights, and
Stellar Fights, it's called?
Yeah, in Delaware. So the reason I was like pushing my coach to get me a fight down there, because they had ground and pound. I was like, I really want to punch somebody in the face on the ground. I was like, I'm not really a good boxer. Like, my striking's not there, but I was like, I feel like if I can take him down and like get mount and just like start beating this dude up, I was like, I can get a nice TKO win. It looks good on the record.
What
It'd
are some
cool.
things that's not allowed in like amateur MMA that you see in the UFC? Like, I'm curious.
So
it sounds like that promotion
Pennsylvania
had ground and pound, but just like other
so
one didn't.
professional or amateur MMA in Pennsylvania is like pretty specific on its rules, and I'm not sure if Jersey's the same way or not, but amateur MMA in Pennsylvania, for your first 3 or 4 fights, that you have to wear shin guards. You wear 6-ounce gloves instead of 4-ounce gloves, so usually they have like a thumb piece. The shin guards, the 6-ounce gloves. You can't kick to the head, knee to the head, or elbow to the head at any time. You can't ground and pound a down opponent. So essentially, it's kind of like a kickboxing fight without head kicks.
Yeah.
And then a jiu-jitsu match with punches to the gut.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing. So then after that, you can get your advanced amateur rules, which allow no shin guards, still no elbows, still no knees, still no head kicks, but you can now ground and pound a down opponent. So
can you do like leg kicks and stuff?
Yeah.
Can you heel hook?
No twisting ankle locks. That is the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you could straight
like,
ankle lock. I'm like, you're essentially wearing like kick boots from pro wrestling, like that.
Real.
But yeah, they got some funky rules, and then other states it's free for all. Other states might not even have amateur. You know, like I know dudes that had amateur fights in Ohio, and it's full pro rules. The only difference is you're just an amateur. Like it's
just
pretty
your
crazy.
title,
So
right? It seems like the way that they strip it down is like anything that's like an advanced technique from any of these arts is not allowed, right?
Yeah, and then it's kind of strange too because when you think about it, the actual like martial art of MMA, like the
Yeah.
actual very specific thing to MMA is the ground striking. That's like really was never seen before this.
Yeah.
You know, you have like old school karate techniques where they might throw somebody and then ground strike them once, but like to
Yeah.
get mount and actually like hit somebody and then apply pressure and then hit somebody again and learn how to use a short elbow and learn how to posture up correctly.
Yeah.
All that stuff. That's like the actual martial art of MMA.
And the
That
cage
and the
fighting
cage
side as
fighting,
well,
like
right?
yeah. So those two things combined, you're kind of taking out what really makes the sport the sport.
Mm.
And yeah. So I really wanted to fight down there, and I was like, all right, I like, and he's like, fine, we'll go down there, because it's in Harrington. It's like
It's not
Lower
that hard.
Delaware,
It's
which
not
is
that far, yeah.
it's not that far, but Lower Delaware is kind of its own vibe if you've ever been down there.
For sure.
So I had my third fight down there. Ended up winning in the second round by rear naked choke. Took the dude down a bunch. Got to use ground and pound. It was great. And after that, I was just like, oh, I want to do this. Like I want to keep going and like see how far I can keep going. So I had 2 more amateur fights after that. The one following that was actually my first amateur title fight, down for stellar fights. It was like a 15-minute fight. You know, back and forth. I took the dude down early, tried to rear naked choke him without throwing hooks in. Didn't work out.
Damn.
Yeah, very embarrassing for me. Made a potentially short night into a very long night. You know, blew all the blood vessels in my eye from getting hit and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was all fucked up. So, won that by majority decision. We won fight at night. Cool event. Mind you, the whole time, I'm making no money off these. You're making just ticket sales. Like, you don't get paid. You're there for your experience. Like, you're earning your way to be able to, you know, do whatever. So, I was working. I worked for my dad. He owns an automotive shop. I was like a shop manager for a little bit. And when I got deployed, came back, I was doing some residential electric work.
Yeah.
And then at this time, I was doing like cell tower work. So I would work on the base of cell phone towers that give you like LTE and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. So I had to travel a lot for work. So I was like going to work, working from like 5, 6 in the morning to like 5 or 6 at night. And that's on a good night where there's no overtime. Like if we were working close to home and I could be back that quick. I was working night shift every other week.
Damn.
So I was like trying to train 5 to 6 days a week on top of lifting 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah. And
Like
working
it's
big
hard.
shifts.
Everybody, yeah. The lifestyle is like, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's
so
harsh.
if you don't, and like, I don't think I worked hard enough to achieve my end goal, you know? So like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Like the guys that are there doing the thing in the UFC, in Bellator, in ONE FC, like in those top tier promotions, I don't think a lot of people understand how hard that is. And they just like see that, oh, well, that guy's 5-2. Like he barely has any fights. How's he fighting in the UFC? It's like, you have no idea how hard that is. Like it's pretty absurd.
So I'm curious, actually, now just thinking in terms of that sort of thing, when as far as the monetization goes, it seems like in the amateur circuit, you have to sell tickets to get paid.
Yeah.
But how much are you making on a really good night where you win a match?
So you also have to pay for all your medicals beforehand. So you got to get all your blood work done.
Man.
You got to go get a physical. You got to go get your eye exam. So let's say you don't have a job that covers, like your insurance doesn't cover it if you have insurance at all. So you're probably maybe netting $0 total.
Yeah,
Like,
really.
Plus you're paying your gym. You're paying your gym membership to go work out. You're paying your trainers if you have trainers. Like you got to hustle, man. Like you got to figure it out. So.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. You're pretty much paying to fight.
Yeah.
And then even when you go up to fighting pro, like a regional pro fighter that's just starting out, that's not a big ticket seller. Like I was an okay ticket seller. I used to sell like on average like 50 to 60 tickets.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is pretty good.
Yeah.
But then there's dudes that, you know, sell
Like,
300 and shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, man, like,
Yeah.
save some for the rest of us. But
For real.
and then your fight purse for those promotions is like maybe 500 and 500. So you get 500 to show, 500 to win. So if you win, you're making $1,000 plus your 20% ticket sales, maybe some sponsors. But like, if you don't fight on a big show, you fight for a smaller show that doesn't have like maybe a flow a Flow sponsorship or UFC Fight Pass sponsorship.
Yeah.
Like, what sponsor wants to be on Wild Bill's Pancake and Grappling Extravaganza in the middle of nowhere? You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're like, yeah, we'll give you $100 if you wear all our stuff and nobody else's.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's you got to be willing to put in the time. That's it, really. Like, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But
so once you got into pro, how do you feel like it changed your regimen for how you approached like training for these things and maybe even your mindset? I'm curious.
it's like real, like the sacrifices you would have to make, like,
For sure.
you're like, and I feel that's kind of what stymied me is I didn't sacrifice as much as I should have to actually be,
Yeah.
you know, like,
hindsight's 20/20.
yeah,
right?
that's how it always is. Everybody always looks through like rose-colored glasses or life's a bitch, like in any way, you know. But I mean, I was always training. Anybody that used to see me back when I was training to fight I was there every day. I would lift every day, run, eat right. Like, I had one of the dudes in the gym was a chef. Like, he used to cook all the food for me, everything. I would pay him. Like, it was like a whole thing. So it didn't change. It was just the mentality of it all. You're like, oh, this is real. Like, this is your job interview. Like, if you do well here, all your hard work could pay off.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where it like makes or break you. Like, are you willing to see your hard work through, or are you going to like just let it, or are you going to squander? Are you going to let so I'm trying to think about how to put it, man.
Yeah.
It's like when those bright lights come on, are you going to let them just melt you, or are you going to like fucking shine? You know?
Yeah, 100%, right?
So, unfortunately, you know, I might have melted a little bit, but it is what it is. Like you said, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
So,
do you think, so what was your pro ratio of wins to losses?
I was 2-2, so I had 500.
Yeah.
So it was like, and I mean, I didn't fight anybody. I didn't really have easy fights either.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to like say the good loss thing. Like, this isn't college football. There's no such thing as a good loss. Losing sucks. If you're okay with losing, you're a fucking loser.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just how it is. So, you know, first guy I fought PA cage fights up in Wilkes-Barre. It was good promotion. He had like a decent amateur career. Won by first round rear naked choke. It was good. Second one, I fought for Ring of Combat. Big, you know, used to be the shit promotion. Still is in my mind. I think one of the best promotions on the East Coast for sure.
What makes it stand out to you?
That's where a lot of the dudes like Matt Serra, Frankie Edgar,
nice.
like all the Jersey guys, Dante Rivera, all the
100%.
Sarah Longo guys come out of there pretty much. That's where they fight. So fought actually a Sarah Longo guy out of there. Won decision, great fight, had a good performance. I was really proud of myself. Like, it was probably the best fight I've ever had. And you know, and then I went in CFC, which is now like probably the premier East Coast
for sure.
organization. They have the biggest show, best production. Like, that's the UFC Fight Pass deal. They got everything, man. So I fought a guy, Sean Teed, who ended up being the heavyweight champion there, and lost by second round Kimura. And I was like, oh man, this fucking sucks, you know. But I fought a guy with a little bit more experience. He was a little bit more used to the show.
Yeah.
You know,
So that guy that got you with a Kimura, what belt were you in jiu-jitsu at the time versus him?
I think I was a purple belt at the time.
Do you think he was about the same?
Yeah, he was known as like the Kilot guy. Like, he had done it to a lot of people.
Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm also not a big heavyweight. So like, you know, I'm fighting dudes that are like 6'4", 265, cutting some weight maybe. I'm like 6'1" at the time I was fighting. I was like 235, 240.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So I was like, you know, 20 pounds less than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really that tall. So, you know, that sucked. I got thrown on my head. Like, I'm a wrestler. I got fucking thrown on my head. Like, this fucking sucks. Like, I'm a grappler. Like, I got American. Like, this fucking blows, man.
Yeah.
So that was beating me up. So that kind of ate me up inside a lot. So that kind of drove me. I was like, I got to figure something out. So I made some switches, and and then it took me like 2 years to get a fight after that. Just, there's not really many heavyweights. So it took a while to find another opponent, and I fought a debuting guy out of Lloyd Irving's on my last fight, which was in 2019 at Parks Casino. First round went well, and he was like, we knew a little bit about him. We knew he was like a big Muay Thai guy. He was like a blue belt. And I was like, yeah, but he's like a Lloyd Irvin blue belt. So it's not really. It's like, he's got to be decent on the ground. So I was like, all right, man, we'll take the fight. We'll see what happens. So first round went pretty good, pretty even. I might even won a little bit. Felt pretty confident. Second round, I got him against the cage. Couldn't really get him down. And then I was like, oh, shit, I can't really get this fucking dude down.
Yeah. Do you find that you're better? I know your wrestling is immaculate.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
obviously.
immaculate's a stretch, but yeah, like I'm a competent wrestler for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you coach the program at Saga. And like when I wrestle with your guys, I'm always like, fuck, like, you know what I mean? So you're definitely a good coach at least.
Yeah.
So do you find that you're hindered a lot more when you're up against a cage, or are you comfortable?
No,
in both
actually,
settings?
I prefer. I like the cage.
I love cage wrestling.
I
a
love
lot,
cage wrestling. Yeah. Like I wish. I enjoy it a lot. I still do it. Like in the gym now with the wall mats and everything. Like me and one of the other black belts, we have a good time just fucking around doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's still something I like to train. It's useful, man. It's like
For sure.
somebody jumps you got a wall. You're like,
Yeah.
all right.
No, I'd love for you to show me some stuff because I'm like pretty limited on my scope on that. I'm curious to learn more.
Next time you're in, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so couldn't really get him down. We break off, and he's a switch hitter, so he's like switching stances, and he's flicking out a right-handed jab from orthodox, and I'm like, how can I don't really remember because it quickly ended after this. I'm trying to think. Anyway, he was in orthodox, and he's pumping out a jab, and he plants forward, switches to left, and drops a left straight right through my guard. Boom. Face flat.
Damn. Dude.
Yeah, and I look up, and I remember I looked at the ref. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And he was like, "It was a really nice switch left hand." I'm like,
Damn, it's like well played.
So then after that, I was like, fuck. Got knocked out in front of my dad and like 15 other people. It's like pretty shitty feeling. So
no doubt.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm done, but at the same time, I'm like, where's my end goal now? Like,
for sure.
Like I'm 31. I'm not super young. I'm not really old for a heavyweight either. Heavyweights tend to be older, but I'm like, I could just go work my day job, train jiu-jitsu, and enjoy my life for the same amount of money I could potentially make. Yeah. Even if say I came back and I ended up fighting and I have 5 more fights and I go 7-2 or whatever. And the UFC calls or whoever, Bellator calls. And they're like, hey man, we need you to fight. And they sign you to like a 15-15 contract. You're like, all right, 15-15, that sounds good. Next thing you know, you're like, yeah, but you got to pay, you got to train all that time. Now that you're fighting in the big show, you don't have time to work. Like, the dude you're fighting doesn't have time to work either. Like this guy's feeding his family with this. Yeah. You better be feeding your family with this. Like, you got to fucking think about that. So now you're not working. So now you're relying on winning that fight to get your extra money. So you're making 30 grand. And then you might not fight again that whole year. Yeah. So it's like,
for sure.
oh, I went from making, 75 grand a year, whatever, to making 30 grand and fighting potentially. Yeah. If I lose, now I only make 15. And it's like, yeah, you can get sponsors and everything else and you're doing well, but it's like, what kind of life do you want to live? Yeah. And it's like, now I'm like getting a little older, bought a house, have a long-term girlfriend, looking to get married. It's kind of like I have to think about other people, not just myself.
For sure.
So if
the wisdom's like there. You're able to look at the big picture more.
Yeah, which sucks at the same time. For sure. It's like the last visit. It's like a dying, angry young kid. You're like, you got to let him die at some point. But at the same time, you're like, nah, I want to fucking hold on to that. I can still do it.
There's value in that, right? That youthful vigor.
But luckily I have jiu-jitsu, and that's like,
of course,
because over the time, like I always loved MMA, still watch a ton of MMA, still read a ton about MMA, still watch a lot of technique videos, but I absolutely love jiu-jitsu. So that's like where my true passion is now. Like I fucking love it.
Yeah. Have you been doing a lot of competition as well?
Yeah, I recently started getting back doing a lot more this year, so I'm enjoying it.
I know your brother just got that title, so you must be itching.
Yeah, we were at the same one. I lost to Tom in the final. Tom McMahon, in overtime. Got me with a nice triangle.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's a great dude.
Yeah. But that's sick. Who was it? Tom
McMahon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
But great competitor, so there's no shame, but it is what it is. Those EBI overtimes are fucking tough.
It was interesting in the training room last night. So we were doing your pro comp class that you guys have over at Saga, which is amazing.
Come check it out every Monday.
Yeah, I've been going up pretty frequently, and I've been really enjoying it.
Hold on, there's a question.
Yeah, for sure.
Not very, I will tell you that.
How strong did Hulk Barbosa feel when they grappled? Oh yeah, nice, man. So you fought Barbosa at Subversive?
I did, yeah.
Tell me about that. That's Gaetano right there. In case you didn't know, shout out to Guy.
What's up, Guy? That was probably the coolest experience, just the Subversive in general, not just the opportunity to grapple him, because I'm like a normal dude, man. Like I'm an electrician for a private school district. Like I'm not this guy that gets to do jiu-jitsu 50 hours a week. Yeah. You know, I'm just like, I get to train 5-6 days a week, and that's it. Like that's what I do. Yeah. So that was cool being part of that, and like having that whole pomp and circumstance behind it. Plus, I had a great team. It was me, Dylan Royce from Precision, and Amanda Levy. So it was awesome. Hell yeah, dude. It was awesome. We had a great time, and it was awesome to compete alongside those two. But the Hulk match came up, and I was like in the back warming up, and actually Amanda's boyfriend Christian was back there warming up with me, and he's like, listen, man, he gave me the greatest piece of advice. He's like, you're grappling just another dude. Don't worry about his name. Like, just go out there and just do what you can do. He's like, we all know you can do it. Just go do it. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went out there, and at first I tied up with him, and I was like, oh man, this guy's really fucking small. I'm like, he's not very big. Like, you think a guy with the nickname Hulk, like, I'm not talking shit. But at the same time, I'm like,
you're bigger than him then.
Right, I'm much bigger than he is. Like,
didn't expect
he probably weighed like 210 pounds maybe.
Yeah. And you, what were you at the time?
I was probably like 255, 260.
Oh shit.
So I was
like
a
significant amount.
Yeah, I was like, and he's like, I'm like, oh, you're like 5'11". Like, like Hulk. Like,
you're more average than me.
Super jacked, awesome guy.
Yeah,
like,
ripped up for sure.
But I was like, he's not very strong, but he's smart, and he like is phenomenal at jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So ended up having a really back and forth match with him. He got a nice little takedown, little trip at the end. Threw on an armbar, rolled belly down. I escaped, and we ended up, match was over.
That's all good.
But yeah, to answer your question, not very.
That's awesome. So I'm curious about the nickname. Like, I was kind of scrolling through your stuff, trying to do some research on you. And the Berserker nickname, where did that come from?
I think it just kind of happened. Like, nobody gives themselves a nickname. You're kind of an asshole if you do that.
Yeah.
But
all right, I guess I'm an asshole, Brad the Bard over here.
I mean, nah, you're a fucking musician. It makes sense.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, it just kind of came about. Like, I'm a dork at heart, so I like all that shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
But yeah, I think I had a shirt on that said it, and my old boxing coach, shout out Benny, you're the man. He was just like, yeah, that's it. He's like, you're Berserker now. There you go. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
He's like, that's it. Go with it. Rock with it. I actually was like, almost had the shirt on today when I was walking out. I was like, it might be cold. I'm throwing a sweatshirt. But yeah, he kind of was like, that's it. You found it out, bro. Go with that one.
That's awesome. I'm curious if I was curious if any of the inspiration for that nickname came from the old like WWE guy, the Berserker. Maybe it was WWF. The Berserker. He like ate like the fake fucking like turkey leg. Huss. Nah. I don't know. It's so funny. I just imagine that. Yo, I'll show you later. You're gonna
I'll have to
like,
bring out like the
guy.
fake turkey leg now. Just gimmick and fringe on him.
For sure. You ever go to the Ren Fair with your brother?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. You
since we
probably
were
dogging
kids.
them turkey legs. I go there. I'm surprised I haven't seen you there because I've seen other sauce guys there before.
Oh,
yeah. I go there pretty often.
My brother's wedding's actually gonna be there. Kyle's wedding.
That's
awesome,
it's gonna be awesome. Man. Yeah, Brad the Bard might crash in. Watch out.
Just hop that fence.
Yeah, dude. I love to like go in there with like I'll bring like a ukulele sometimes, and I'll just like play and drink mead the whole time. It's so fun, dude. I love the Ren Fair. But that's really sick, man. I'm very like inspired by like your journey and how like you've decided like jiu-jitsu's like an easy alternative to do.
Not easy.
Well, of
not
course.
Easy.
But
it
was like an easy transition for your mind. I mean, of course, jiu-jitsu's not easy.
I think it's I just think it's important to have something, no matter what it is. Like if you're like music, art, like bike racing, race car driving, whatever. Like name any fucking endeavor that you can do that you can like strive to be better at. I think is like just a person. it's important to have that and continue to do that throughout your entire life, because otherwise, like, I don't want to be the dude that's just kind of like, or the person, I should say,
time, and now he doesn't do any of that anymore. Kind of
right.
thing. Yeah.
I think it's better to be a could have been than it never was.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
For sure.
Both suck, but one's definitely better.
Definitely. One of them dies with regrets,
yeah,
right? Yeah, 100%, man.
It's always better to burn out than fade away.
Yeah, I'll drink to that, dude. So tell me a little bit about like the jiu-jitsu journey now that like you're on it. Like you pretty much like have your brother owning the gym. Like you run a lot of the programs there as well.
No, I don't. I have nothing to do with the business. That is all my brother.
Yeah. But you do a lot of the coaching, right?
When he's gone, I'll fill in every once in a while. Yeah. Coaching's not really my vibe.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to, the words I probably say to some of the people are probably too harsh, and my like outlook on it is like, I know what I do, and I don't think I work hard enough to achieve things, and people say things and I'm like, you don't even come close to doing enough to do the things you're saying.
Yeah.
So like that drives me up a wall.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's hard to make that disconnect between like your personal like thoughts and what a coach should be.
Yeah.
So I don't coach. I'm not a coach. I'm not like,
yeah.
It's
I feel like the banter in your gym's great. Like I love a gym where like everyone's kind of like,
oh, we love talking shit.
I love
especially on each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
and that's what it is the whole time. It's so good. Like I feel like
nothing nice is said.
Good roles come out of that though. Like
Yeah.
it's good. I think that's great foundation for great competitive culture in a gym. From what I've seen, that's always like a common theme. Like,
yeah, I mean, it also helps like a lot of our guys and women come from like backgrounds of maybe you were in the military, maybe you were a police officer, maybe you were even just like Joe Blow construction worker, like some union guy. Like those guys you talk shit 24/7 all day.
Yeah,
so
for
like,
sure.
you better be good at it by the time you come in.
Come into our gym, right? That's awesome though.
But,
so let's talk a little bit about like your military thing. So you said you were a heavy machine operator 12 November, right?
Yeah, so my original MS was 12 Bravo, which is like combat engineer.
Oh shit.
Which is like all demo, blowing stuff
dude,
up. Yeah.
Like sapper shit.
So then when I got deployed, I actually was deployed with another unit out of Johnstown, PA, which is like straight western Pennsylvania. It's south of Pittsburgh. And they were like, hey, man, you're going to reclass school. And I was like, I don't want to go to reclass school. They were like, well, if you're going to Afghanistan, go to reclass school.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So I learned how to operate some bulldozers, some excavators.
Oh, cool.
Stuff like that. And then
pretty
much the whole time I was in Afghanistan, I was a shovel operator. So,
yeah, really?
There's guys much better at the equipment. I was just extra hands for what they needed. And like I said, it was great. I loved it, which is weird because I'm not like, I wasn't knee deep in brass and hand grenade pins. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
My experience was a little different. So
yeah.
It was nice to get to be there, see what it was. Because I actually was in 5th grade when 9/11 happened. So it was like surreal. I was like, oh, I was in 5th grade when this started. And now here I am. I'm 23 standing here right now.
Yeah.
It seems a little crazy.
Like 2nd or 3rd grade when it happened. I was in like the library. It's messed up, man.
It's kind of weird.
Us all home. I'm like, what's going on?
It's like 20 some years later.
Yeah.
Or not 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's wild stuff, man. So while you were over there, did you see any action at all?
No.
That's probably
like some rockets landed on base when we were there and stuff. But like, no, I never.
Yeah.
Never had to fire a weapon. Never had a weapon fired at me. Like none of that stuff. So.
For sure.
And which is good. Which is good.
For sure.
Like,
for sure.
Don't ever shit on somebody's service for not doing that.
100%.
Because like,
man. You deployed. Like I didn't even get to deploy, and I even looked
even
back
being
at
like
myself,
a peacetime guy, like it's fine or whatever, but like never. You could be like hyping up that dude's or woman's worst day of their life, essentially. So it's just something I was never all about. Like, like would I have done it if it came? Of course, like it's your job. You just do your job. And your job can suck or your job can be easy. My job happened to be easy.
You signed up for the job.
So,
yeah. What was your favorite like thing that you've operated?
Oh, the excavator was fun.
Yeah.
That shit's cool. It's just you fucking playing with Tonka trucks.
Yeah,
it's like,
for real, dude. That's sick. You ever drive the Atlas?
No.
Forklift. That thing's so fun. I remember there was one drill where I was sitting there and I was just like picking up a traffic cone and dropping it like just for like an hour because we were just so.
You just get bored, man. Dude, you just start doing anything.
It's so fun to mess with that thing. I was like just with the joysticks. Those machines are fun as fuck to operate. Did you shoot any cool weapons though, like during training?
Oh yeah, of course.
What was your favorite thing that you shot?
I'm a 240 guy.
Oh yeah, 240 Bravo.
Machine gun stuff.
You had that fucking thing on your shoulder, bro. You were just like one hand in that thing, probably.
Right. Yeah, no. So I'm still in, so I get to shoot machine guns 3 times a year and shit. It's a good part-time job.
Yeah, for sure.
You get to do some shit you wouldn't do otherwise. You get to have some fun. You get to meet some cool dudes. You also get to meet some bad ones.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But that's anywhere. But,
yeah, definitely. Any job, right? You ever shoot a Mark 19?
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love that thing, dude.
It's
my favorite thing of all time.
It's a good time. Even with like the dummy chalk rounds and stuff, it still
operates, right? Like I remember
you just watch them fly out there.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's like it's like there's no replacing that with a video game, dude.
Nah.
Yeah, I was at Fort Indian Town Gap when I got to shoot my first Mark 19 and man, that was a game changer for like what I appreciate in a weapon system.
Yeah, like I get to throw a lot of HE downrange. Like that's pretty real? Sick. Like
yeah,
it's cool to watch, man.
For sure.
Like, I'm gonna fuck that car up.
For sure. Did you ever get to work with any like explosives with like C4 and stuff?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like the combat engineer stuff. Like you had to do some.
Yeah, so like C4 Bangalore torpedoes, which is just like you ever watch Saving Private Ryan? They screw them together and they blow up that fence in the beginning of it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Them. Shit like that, deck cord, all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, that's pretty neat. I remember when I was in I started out as a 91 Delta and I reclassed to 19 Delta for Cav Scout, and we blew up a microwave with C4 like in a ditch. I have a video of it. I was like Sergeant, I gotta put my phone here before we do this.
I gotta record this. Man. Gotta blow up this microwave.
Yeah, it was sick.
It's a bad burrito. Shove it in there.
It's a bad burrito. Yeah, it's awesome stuff, man. So you're an electrician now, you said, for like a private school district?
Yeah.
That's
so I'm like their maintenance electrician. So.
How did you get involved with that? Like you said like the college wasn't for you, so did you go to like an apprenticeship to do this?
So I came home from Afghanistan and I was kind of like just milling around on my leave, and I was just like, I don't know what I want to do. I know I don't want to go back and work for my dad, nor did he really want me to, because he's like, you need to not do this. He's like, figure something out. So I was like, all right, man. And then he called me and he's like, hey, one of my like childhood friends needs help. He's an electrician. He's like, he's redoing a basement and he can't really do it by himself. And I said, you were on leave and you just started looking for like some work. Maybe you can go help him and maybe you'll like it or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. Sounds good. So I went and helped him. He taught me a lot. Ended up working for him for about a year. And he's like, hey, if you want to make a little bit more money, you should go to like a trade school, do like a 6-month program. The Army will pay for it. I'm like, oh, it's not a bad idea. And two of my friends were going. So I was like, oh, all right. It's right down in Bristol. Like the Army pays for it. They pay me to go. So I was like, why not? Give it a shot.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I was bouncing at a dive bar at the time. 2 nights a week, and then going to school and getting my.
To hear those stories. We'll come back to that.
I got like 1 or 2 good ones, and that's about it.
That's good. That's fine.
But yeah, so I went to the trade school. Came out, got that job working on cell towers, doing like DC voltage stuff, which was fun. The travel, I loved that job. That job was awesome. I worked with super cool dudes, but the travel and the schedule fucking sucked. Because, like I was saying earlier, I was fighting at the time. So we would, get to the shop whenever. But we'd work. Our area was pretty much Maine to like South Carolina.
Oh,
they would take jobs anywhere from pretty much the East Coast.
Yeah.
And as far west as like Ohio. So I'm like, this fucking sucks.
That's a chunk of land.
So they would tell us the day before. They'd be like, hey man, you guys got to be in here like 5 a.m. because you're rolling out, and then you come back whenever. You're going to like Virginia today. Have fun. I'm like, shit. And then I'd have to miss the gym, and then like they'd be like, oh, next week you're on night shift in Scranton and you're staying out there all week. And I'm like, oh god. So then I'd be working out in the mornings and trying to like go like.
Were you just lifting at like a Planet Fitness or something?
We were working all the time. You know, these are long days. Like we're putting in the equipment that essentially powers like your LTE and stuff.
Yeah.
So we were working long days, and I'm like moving all these machinery cabinets, driving the box truck back and forth, and it is what it is. So you like go crash and then you come home because you're trying to get the job done, because they were like, yo, if you get the job done by Thursday, you still get paid your 40 at minimum. So they're like, whenever you make that 5th day, if you get the job done early for free. Like, so you're kind of trying to set a pace.
So you want to grind these days so you have like the weekend to train and stuff,
yeah.
like intentionally, instead of trying to get bullshit stuff in every day. That makes sense.
So, and you know, I'm like with other guys, so and I'm like low man on totem pole, so they're setting the schedule early.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, I did that, and then I was just like, I got an opportunity to start doing commercial electric work, which is what I wanted to do from the jump.
Yeah.
So I did that. I left the job at the tower place and then went and did commercial electric work, and the company ended up going out of business. It's poorly run. It is what it is. And I was like, okay. And then the dude that I originally started working for called me again. He's like, hey, I got a job for you if you want it. So I worked for him for 2 years, and that was awesome. He really supported me through like the end of my amateur career and like most of my pro career. So that was actually really awesome of him. Like, he'd be like, oh, you want to go train? Like, all right, we're done at 2 today. Like, and pay me for the amount of time. Like, he would cover a little bit essentially. He was really awesome like that. So then that happened, and then that came to an end after like 2 years, because he was just like, I'm looking to downsize. Like, he was older, looking to retire, like slow down a lot. So then I went to a residential company, because I was doing residential the whole time with him. Hated it. Hated my boss.
Yeah.
Like, fucking.
It was like a union thing?
No. So it was big, like, sales oriented. And I wasn't very good at it, because I didn't really vibe with the company. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't say anything bad about it. Like, the quality of the work was good and everything. Yeah. But I just didn't vibe with I didn't fit in. So now I found this gig working at the school, being the maintenance electrician. I do 3 different buildings. It's pretty good. Like, I like it.
That sounds pretty sick. I'm curious about, you said you did the work with like the LTE stuff. So were you working on it when 4G was essentially the LTE is like the long-term evolution stuff. So like, tell me a little bit about that, because like I have a technical background.
So I can't explain anything.
You can't even explain
I know I put the equipment in.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about it, because I've never like touched a cell tower, but I understand like how the technology
So like
works.
in the base, like if you look at a tower, there's like a little building down there, and then that building contains all these
barbed wire around it.
Yeah, contain all these like cabinets. They're real tall. And we would install like the battery backups for them, which are these massive, like UPS battery
UPSs. Yeah, there's one right here, little one.
Yeah, they were about 17 times bigger than that, and stacked 5-6 high.
Yeah.
So we would put them in, and then we would install these cabinets that pretty much had all like I don't even know what was in them, but I know they gave you the LTE.
Yeah, no, that's interesting stuff. Because I think about, I've had this conversation before about like how 5G exists. And from my understanding, how it works is like you had 2G, which was like the second generation of the cellular technology, then 3G, and then 4G as the 4th generation. And then they had the 4G LTE, which was just the name for the long-term evolution of that technology. And 5G is just a completely different thing. So that's why they call it 5G for 5th generation.
Instead of like,
it's not 5 gigs for like all
4G
the people
LTE too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
just
same thing.
Like, we're done naming this shit. It's just LTE for a while until like 5G's out. Now you have completely like I remember at Finishers, like some guys that was doing your job ruined my podcast with Zach Maslany, because on the background all you hear is beep beep beep
backing up the truck.
Thing.
Yeah,
I was like, fucking dude, I wanted to go out there and like choke somebody.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm gonna bitch slap you right now.
Oh man, but yeah, it's just interesting stuff. I kind of got derailed with that.
It's all right, man.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I tend to like ramble, and I probably sound like a goon on this, but it's
not even, dude. I think you've been speaking pretty good. I'm the one that sounds like a goon most of the time. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about like your training regimen now. How does your jiu-jitsu training regimen when you're going and ramping up for competition differ from the MMA side of things back then?
I just took out the punching.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Nah, so it's like a little bit less. Like, I don't really run as much anymore. I'm getting a little older. Running's hard. So I like the air bike a lot. I still lift every day. Probably lift 4 days a week now. And I started lifting heavier instead, as opposed to kind of doing a little bit more dynamic workout.
Yeah.
So
You do that strongman stuff?
no, never got in that. It's like more of like a whack powerlifting build.
Yeah, no, it's not whack.
It's fun.
I like
But-
powerlifting. I think that's my favorite like orientation of like just the big three: squat, bench, deads.
Yeah, I mean, my brother's always been much stronger in a weight room than me.
Really?
So I always feel like I have to,
Yeah, you
I'm
have
like
to
trying to
match
catch
that
up.
shit,
And I'm like,
yeah.
He's shorter than me. Can't be stronger.
Yeah. You're the older brother, right?
I'm the middle, yeah. So
Okay.
Kyle's the youngest. I'm
Yeah.
the middle. And then we have an older brother, too.
Yeah. And he doesn't train.
No,
like
he
you
plays
guys.
hockey.
He plays hockey. Okay.
Yeah.
So he still punches people occasionally.
That's assault in men's league hockey.
That's funny, man.
But, so my training pretty much, that's like those Monday comp classes. I wish I could do a couple more of them a week, but I try and get down and train with James Booth twice a week, who's been very,
That's Grindhouse.
yeah,
right?
it's Team Grindhouse down there, down Southampton. He's been, over the last couple of years, we actually met him through Zuan Yanwu, who was like huge in my pro MMA career. Like I met him at the end of my amateur career, and he was very, very, kind of was like, my like mentor a little bit
Yeah.
through my whole pro fight career. Not a little bit, he was like, he straight up was. So he was very, very awesome to me. And he introduced me to James, and James has now been very, very helpful to me in advancing my jiu-jitsu and taking me from just like a spazzy purple belt, brown belt guy
Yeah.
and actually giving me some like, here's like how you should do a back take as a heavyweight. Here's how you can apply good pressure to other heavyweights. Because that's, I think, lost on a lot of people that
makes
are
sense,
like
yeah.
a little bit more average sized, like from that like 155 to like that 180 range. Like all you guys can kind of train together and it's not too bad. Like a strong 155er and like a normal 180-pound dude can train together and it's like you don't feel like you're dying. That is like a 20-pound weight difference or whatever, 30-pound weight difference. But it's not going to like kill you.
Mm-hmm.
When it's two heavyweights and I'm 240 and you're 260 and it's like things don't work that well.
Yeah.
Like if I sit back weird and just blow my knee out because you just weigh down on me.
Exactly, dude. It's
Or a
scary
dude might
stuff,
even,
man.
heavyweight's unlimited in jiu-jitsu, so a dude might be 310,
Yeah.
320, and you're like, oh, fuck.
I find that once I get squashed by like inside control or something by like a heavyweight, it's just a nightmare to like get out of there. That's like the only thing I can find to fight like heavier dudes is leg locks like anymore.
They're equalizer, man.
Yeah.
Use them if you got them.
Yeah.
But, smaller guys, anybody under, 130 pounds
Mm-hmm.
or a woman, like that's hard to find.
100%, dude.
So-
Like, especially like a guy like you that lifts, man. You have these strong ass legs. I can hardly get exposure.
Right.
It's the worst, man. Like when you have like a black belt heavyweight, it's like a nightmare to me. It's
Yeah.
like,
So like those like sections of body types and genders and stuff, like it's hard to find training partners. So like luckily
Yeah.
I was introduced to James, and then
how much does James weigh? Like,
he's probably 240.
oh, okay, so he's pretty relative to your weight then.
yeah, but he's much taller. He's 6'5", so
Mhm.
he's like a real heavyweight.
Yeah.
According to him, I'm not gonna hype him up because he doesn't deserve it. But,
Oh man.
but no, he gathered up we had a bunch of people in there training all heavyweight. Everybody was like, I think Kyle was the smallest one. So-
Damn, dude, that's
Yeah,
that
it's
sounds
been awesome.
intimidating as hell.
So for the past couple of years, I've been going there at least once a week. So
Mhm.
it's been awesome. He's been very, very helpful to me.
That's awesome, man. Do you travel around and train with like a lot of other gyms? Like you mentioned Precision earlier.
Not I do, but not so much recently because the past 2 years have been kind of goofy.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I
been
mean?
weird for sure.
But luckily, I've been fortunate enough that we get a lot of visitors, and then going to James's, he gets a lot of visitors as well. So
Yeah.
like I've been able to intermingle with a lot of gyms just between two different places.
Mm.
I'm not opposed to it. I love training with other people.
Yeah.
I like going to other gyms. I like seeing how their environment is. So
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm curious to know about if you've ever trained with like the Daniel Gracie guys, because I know they're pretty big on MMA. There's a lot of really.
I have
prominent
once
guys
or
that have come up-
twice.
Yeah.
Not enough to really like speak on
on
it.
it. Yeah.
I mean, they're a premier team in Philly now. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. They have what? 4 dudes in the UFC. None of them have
so.
lost in the UFC
Yeah,
yet. Like,
it's pretty wild.
they're the shit. You know, like they're really the team of the year in the UFC in my eyes. Like,
Yeah.
so
That's awesome, man. I think I'd love to get down there and meet some of them guys for sure.
And I think they just opened a new. I know Daniel opened a new school. It's like all white jiu-jitsu school. It looks really nice, and I think they just opened like a new gym for the MMA side too.
Oh, that's cool that they're like separating the two.
I think I saw pictures of that on Instagram. So that's. I think they're like pretty close to each other. I could be wrong. Like I said, don't train there, don't know.
Yeah.
But it looks nice, looks great, and they're fucking killing it. So props to them, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
They're the shit right now. Hopefully it continues. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's nice to see, you know, that
Pennsylvania
Philly
represented,
spot
yeah.
because for so long it was like you had like Eddie Alvarez and then kind of nobody else. But
Yeah.
but even then he wasn't really training in Philly. Like he's a Philly guy, but he was like in Florida or in Jersey or in wherever, and then you had a couple other guys. But now it's like all these dudes are from Southeast Pennsylvania fighting out of Philly. So it's like really cool to see that as like a hometown, as like a homer. Like I like
for
watch,
sure.
It's cool to see that.
If there's a guy from my state, I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool when I
Unless they're
went
from
to
Pittsburgh. We
Yeah,
don't root for
that's a
them.
different state. Yeah.
Eastern Ohio.
Yeah, Eastern Ohio. But when I went to go see UFC 271, I got to see Jeremiah Wells fight, and I actually,
He's a fucking
dude,
animal.
he's a beast, dude. I actually saw. I'm pretty sure I saw him at CFFC for my first MMA event that I've ever gone to, and he won that match, and he won at like UFC, and I'm so mad that I didn't bet on him because I was like, dude, I would. Like,
Oh, you always got to pick the hometown.
you got
bet,
it, dude. I was like, if I would have put him on my parlay with Cannoneer, I would have made money. But instead, I bet Lewis because I didn't think about it. I was so mad. It's all good though.
Happens. MMA's a motherfucker to bet too. Because
Yeah.
like you said, you bet Lewis, and I was like, God damn, that was disappointing.
Yeah, it's like doing fucking shoeies on his way out. It's like,
Yeah, Ty's fun, man.
Yeah.
Ty's fun, but
I like them both. Like they're both incredible dudes. Like very big personalities. You know. Are there any guys that you looked up to at the time when you were training MMA, and maybe even now that you're really into in Bellator or UFC that are big pros?
Oh yeah, like fighters I was like a big fan of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like a huge Dan Henderson fan.
Nice.
Big Josh Barnett fan. Sagaraba is probably my favorite fighter ever.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What made? Why? Why is that?
Dude was like ripping cigs and playing cards before fighting. He'd fight anybody.
Just a
Like there's
gangster.
just like dudes like that. But like fight style wise, like he was a heavy grappler, you know, breaking
Yeah.
Henzo's arm was one of the coolest things ever. Who else? Guys like Gegard Mousasi, who a lot of people really, I think, forgot how long he's been fighting for. We were just, me and Kyle were talking about this with a couple of the guys the other day. Like, that dude was like 20 fighting dudes in Pride.
Yeah.
And winning. It was like getting beat up by Fedor in the gym and fighting fighting in Pride.
For real.
He was like one of the first dudes that used butterfly guard in MMA, like super effectively to get back up. And
That's
like,
interesting.
yeah.
What
So-
were like some of the I can't even recall like any of that stuff. So what was going on then? Like early butterfly guards techniques in MMA.
It wasn't so much like early butterfly guard techniques. It was just like seeing somebody use like just that actual like double under butterfly, extend them to get back to their feet against the cage and stuff like that.
Nice.
It was just like nobody was really doing that.
Yeah.
And he was like one of the first people that I remember because it was actually Zoo told he's like, you gotta watch this, man. He's like, you're a butterfly guard guy. He's like, watch Gegard do it. He's like one of the few guys that does it.
And he does it well.
And he
yeah.
does it really well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it's always fun to see that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm curious about your striking background. Like, what did you end up training? Was it more boxing or
More boxing mostly, yeah. So,
where did you train for boxing?
we had a guy at the gym. He was an
At Paper Street.
old timer. He boxed for the English Army, actually. He was
That's
Northern Irish guy.
interesting, dude.
Boxed for the English Army, and he just kind of like, he was like my boxing coach essentially.
Yeah.
You know, just teaching me a 1, 2, 3 all day.
Yeah.
Throwing. So it was pretty. We kept it simple because it was just like it's what we had to do. Don't
Yeah.
overcomplicate it. Just
Yeah.
strike into the clinch, get the takedown, strike to the cage, get the takedown. throw 150,000 jabs.
Yeah, just that one, right? It's that Bruce Lee quote: "Rather fight the guy that knows 10,000 kicks than the guy that knows one kick 10,000 times."
Just stay busy with the jab.
Yeah.
Keep their hands up and shoot
And
under
then
them.
get
Like,
'em. That's sick.
he's like, so stepping in for power shots was never really. I didn't really advance far enough for that. Probably, I probably stymied my own by relying too much on my wrestling. But it is what it is.
Did you find a good effect from using like close range things like your elbows and stuff, like from when you were on top? Like, I'm curious.
No, never really.
No?
Not really.
You were really hunting for subs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was more like
sub
grinding
right?
pressure, like using your
Yeah.
head on their head. Like
Oh, dude.
a lot of that stuff. Stick your cauliflower ear in their eye. Like
ODB
just like,
was doing that to me yesterday, man. I was like, man, I enjoy rolling with
He
him.
earned
Like, all
his
this
nickname,
all this
trust
shit on
me.
my face is from him. I was like, dude, I'm getting you every time I
Yeah.
come here. Like, he's a very fun roll. You guys have like really good. I love the way you guys roll. Like on Monday, you guys fucking mean it. It's very cool.
Hey man, if you're gonna be, this isn't a reflection on everybody, but like I like to tell people, if you're gonna be technically inferior, make up for it by being mean as fuck.
Yeah.
Like if the dude's gonna be better than you, at least fucking hurt him the whole time. He might just give up,
Yeah.
and
For
if
real.
not, he's gonna cry about it later. So
Yeah. That's funny. That's fucked. Tell me a little bit about like one of these bouncer stories, man. I gotta know some of these jujitsu stories in real life here.
they're not even like jujitsu stories in real
Oh,
life.
man.
They're more just like grimy fucking people.
Let's hear it, yo.
Like I worked at St. Patrick's Day probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm like,
Good
I'm
thing
milling
you had
around.
that Irish boxing.
I'm like milling around. I'm kind of just hanging out, and like, I was always the guy. I was always the guy that was like taking out the trash during fights. Like
Yeah.
like they don't pay me. You don't insure me. Like if somebody stabs me or some dumb shit, you're not gonna cover my hospital bills. So like, the other guys can handle it.
Yeah, for real. You're there to be intimidating.
I'm just there to hang out, man. Most people you can talk out of stuff. Like
Yeah.
especially if you're like a little bigger, and like I can go up to somebody and be like, hey man, you really don't want to like do this, just leave. And they're like, no. And I'm like, all right, then we'll call the cops. And he's like, well, I don't want that. I'm like, yeah, you don't want that, so just kind of like chill.
Yeah.
So
Verbal judo black belt over here.
yeah, again, not yelling comes in handy.
Yeah.
Which is funny because everybody's like, you're so mean, you yell. I'm like, not really.
Yeah.
But so I'm like milling around. It's packed in there, you know. Everybody's having a good time, and I'm like, they're like, yo, trash cans are full. I'm like, all right, I'll take them out. So at the bar, you go out like the hallway. You pass like the stage or whatever. You go out the back door, and the dumpster's right there. And I'm not sure if any of you worked in like a bar or restaurant or anything like that, but the dumpsters smell like absolute fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like it's disgusting.
So no one wants that job. That's why you did it.
No, it's just like they're just gross. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's a very distinct like this
Smell,
disgusting like
yeah.
smell beer, like stale beer scent and food and everything.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's fucking gross.
Stale
So I'm like walking out there.
Jägermeister.
I'm like, oh man, it was like pretty warm that night too, so it was extra bad. And you know, you throwing all the cans in or whatever, some of the other guys might not give a fuck as much, so they're like dumping them. Beer bottles break in front of the dumpster, all this shit. So I'm like walking down, and I round the corner, and this this girl is sitting on the ground in like some broken glass outside on the dumpster. She's like leaning against it, like you're sitting right now.
Yeah.
Legs up in a skirt, dude's head's up her skirt, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah. In the dumpster. Dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like right outside the dumpster, like in all this fucking broken glass. Dude pops his head out and he's like, gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, get out of here.
Yo, for real, dude.
He just starts laughing, and they just took off, and there was like a little field that cut through to like an apartment complex, and they just ran through this field in the darkness. I was like, I can't believe that just fucking happened. Like, grimy, like I said, grimy people.
Yeah.
So shit like that, like dudes locking the bathroom door to, you know, do blow. You're like kicking it.
Oh,
You're like, come
man.
on, guys, like
You can't be
just
doing
leave
that
the door unlocked. Nobody gives a fuck. Like I'm not gonna call the cops. Like shit like that. It's
That's
just
fucked
fucking,
up, dude.
just people go wild.
Yeah. Where was this at? Is that
Not
in
gonna say.
Hatboro? Oh, was it in Hatboro?
Nah,
though?
it was
Okay.
close. It was
Yeah,
close.
it was around.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was around,
fair
yeah.
enough.
But funny shit, man.
Yeah.
Just like anybody that's worked at any kind of bar, that has a younger skewing crowd, I'm sure has good fucking stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Or any venue type place like.
Yeah. I know you guys like go to the bar like pretty frequently. Like it seems like you.
Well, you're making us sound like a bunch of
no,
lushes, man.
I'm not even doing that. But you know, after belt testing, everyone went to the bars. I can only imagine everyone seemed to know each other in there. So
yeah, you work hard, play hard.
Yeah, for sure. But I was gonna say because of that, I've already heard like a few good bar stories from your rowdy crew of guys.
Yeah.
It seems like it just kind of.
There's nothing wrong with like a casual 8 beers, you know?
Yeah, casual 8 beers. Maybe when you weigh that much. I'm a lightweight, man. So I'm kind of curious a little bit about like your military journey. So you enlisted around, you said like
2008.
Yeah,
July
2008.
2008.
Mm-hmm.
I was 17 and a half. I had to have my parents sign the papers and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So my older brother had joined right before that. And then he convinced me to join. And at the time it was 2008. So they were making a big like troop surge for Iraq and Afghanistan.
For sure.
So he's like, hey, man, if you sign now, you can get like a $20,000 signing bonus. And I was like, oh, shit. All right, man. Like, I'm an idiot. Like, I'll fucking take that.
That's free Dodge Charger. I'll take it.
Yeah. So so I went and they talked and they're like, yeah, we're only offering two MOSs, the $20,000 signing bonus. I was like, what are they? He's like, 88 Mike, which is a truck driver.
Yep.
Or you can blow stuff up. And I was like, what do you mean blow stuff up? He's like, 12 Bravo, man. He's like, blow stuff up. I was like, well, it's clear that I'm 17. I'm fucking retarded. Like, oh, my bad. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
So I'll take.
Them recruiters are the best used cock salesmen.
I'll take that. Yeah, well,
sell anything.
It's even better because the real job of a 12 Bravo nowadays is to drive 5 miles an hour and get blown up by IEDs.
Yeah.
That's the real job.
With the glow plug hanging out of the front of your truck.
So that's why they offered a $20,000 signing bonus. They're like, hey, do you want to drive really slow and get blown up? Don't worry, you're in a big armored truck. Good survival rate.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not what I was sold at all. They're like, well, you're here now, so suck it.
Suck it.
I'm like, well, I guess you do the job. So it's cool, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm not mad about it. It gave me a lot of opportunity in my life for sure.
Definitely. I think like aside from BJJ, some of the best friends I have today are that I met through the military, man. It's like that struggle builds synergy, like unlike any other thing, you know?
It's just like shared, same with jiu-jitsu, like that shared, or any sport that you've participated in, the shared like triumphs and tribulations kind of deal really form good friendships and like good bonds with people, I think.
So I'm curious, like we don't have to go super into it, but like I want to kind of go into like the current like affairs right now. Like what's the guard doing in response to like some of this Ukrainian stuff?
No idea.
They're
not that important.
They're not mobilizing.
Nah, not that. I'm not that important. So like I'm sure on the active duty side it's much worse.
Probably, yeah.
But like domestically, that's the primary concern of the guard. So until it really gets to the point where you're in a war for like 15, 20 years, like before. Because the PA guard actually deploys a lot. Like, I'm not sure. A lot of people don't really know that. But Pennsylvania, Texas, and California.
Yeah, I dodged a bullet in my 6 years that I was in. Yeah. Like, they just got back to deployment when I got it, like, to my unit.
That was me.
Yeah.
They left. I got there. My first drill, they were leaving. They went to Iraq 2011.
Damn.
Like 2010. I was like, whew.
Damn.
It could have been 18-year-old me.
Yeah, for real.
But, yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a general somewhere. I'm not a Fulberg colonel sitting there like.
What's your rank now?
I'm an E5.
Yeah, you're an E5.
Chilling, so
yeah.
But I don't have any information on that, nor any idea.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have like do you have any like inkling of how this is gonna affect like the global like war side of things? I know like. They're saying like there's a lot of rumors about like nuclear war, and I don't think that that's like a likely thing, especially not right now. Like people are saying like World War III is gonna happen and stuff.
Yeah, everybody likes fear mongering, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is interesting to see like essentially definitely Russia, but first world nations like fight each other, because this is the first time in a long time that you've seen that.
For sure.
So probably since the early 90s.
Yeah.
So
I would say so. Like definitely like in my adult lifetime, this is the first time. It's pretty crazy. Like all of the crazy global things that are happening in the span of the last couple of years.
It's pretty
been
wild.
Pretty
So,
wild, man.
just like seeing all that is pretty interesting from like a military tactics interest, military history interest. Like you get to see a lot of that unfold real time. But it is unfortunate that it's like happening in real time because you're like, that is real people. Like this isn't a video game. This isn't a movie. Like that's real life. Those are people that are no longer alive now. And it's tragic. It is what it is. But
yeah, it really is. It's interesting. I was discussing this with one of our training partners, Alex, and we're kind of talking a little bit about how they're doing a lot of encrypted messaging there. Like there's this app Signal. I don't know if you're aware of that one, but they're
it's like all those like WhatsApp, Signal. Like
yeah, exactly. Definitely better than WhatsApp. I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm not a tech guy, man. I'm just thinking about what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're on the same page. It's just interesting to see like a lot of that, and it kind of like harkens back to like my thought of people talking about like the right to privacy. Like I don't have anything to hide, so it doesn't matter. But this is like a perfect example. It's a perfect example of like where you need that. And even like you see some of these press things that are anti-gun in America, but they're super pro-gun. There, it's like
give the civilians. That's guns. Like the whole private company thing. I once saw a meme where it was like the T-800 Terminator, like stomping on a dude, and they're like, Skynet's a private company, you can do whatever it wants. It's like, all right, yeah, cool.
This shit's fucking ridiculous, dude. But are you do you have any concerns about how technology is going to affect this war?
I think that's where war's heading. Like, I think the whole, like, you can see it. War eventually won't be as physical because the physical capabilities now are so absurd. But logistically, like taking out all those economic sanctions, freezing assets, like all that stuff is, you can see it now. Like there's tons of Russian billionaires that are like, this needs to stop. Like I have no money now. I can't go anywhere.
They're
threatening to take like
the rubles are down and Bitcoin
40%.
They're converting. A lot of people are like because they need that shit over.
They need to, have stable money, have a stable economy. So. But I think that plays a big, and then affecting people's populations through that kind of stuff and all that kind of nonsense. So somebody that can speak more eloquently than me, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Can explain it a little better, but I think it's heading more in that direction. You always have physical war, like you always have violence and stuff, but I think the logistic and technology-based attacks are going to be much, much higher.
Yeah. I was talking about this with Alex as well, and one of the points that I was saying is because of the way Russia treats cybercrime for their domestic situations versus how they treat their their hackers against like foreign nations, is you don't get punished nearly as badly in Russia if you're not hacking Russian stuff.
Yeah, why would they care?
They don't care nearly as much. And because of that, you see, like, it's not even like a theory. Like there's proven threat groups that exist in Russia that are some of the most advanced in the world right now.
Yeah, they're like the world's best meme farms, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And then you have like the election stuff. Like you have people affecting that, and those are like state sponsored.
Yeah,
people.
I mean, but why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
At the same time, like,
yeah.
I don't like that guy, and I have stuff that can negatively affect him. Just use it.
Fuck it, right?
It sucks.
Yeah.
What really sucks is when you choose not to play by the same lack of rules that they do.
Yeah.
So that's all. I'll kind of just leave it
there. For sure. Exactly though. Like one last thing on like the topic of like the global stuff. Do you have any like concerns about China getting involved? Because I feel like they're the other superpower that
they are the superpower.
Honestly, well, like I've been comparing what's going on in Ukraine from a political standpoint, very similar to what happened in Hong Kong, where UK left Hong Kong and allowed China to implement the communist government there, and like people just like uproar because it's like, no, democracy's here, like we don't want to lose that. And it's not nearly the same as what's going on in Ukraine, but it's similar because you
Right,
see
and that's
this
the big-
foreign power that's a superpower coming in and taking, something that has a vested interest because of, the
Well, that's the
stuff.
everybody's saying, like, how long till China takes Taiwan back? Like,
Yeah.
or according to them, just like takes what's theirs essentially. Like they don't recognize it or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like I say this all the time, and I've said it for a long time. The world's not going to get better or worse. It's just going to get weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Man.
Yeah.
It definitely is getting worse in places, but like overall, it's a strange time.
I feel like the scale balances, right? Because you see record numbers of countries, in the current day and age being lifted out of poverty, but you also see a lot of suffering that's more transparent with the internet, and there's new ways for criminals to,
Yeah, it's like I said, just gonna get weird.
weirder and weirder.
Gonna get weirder
I
and
like
weirder,
that.
man.
That's a really good quote. I might clip this one. That's
It's
a
all
really
right.
good one. Yeah, it's just I foresee if Russia and China get in league with each other, that's gonna create a really weird and problematic
That's
future
kind of my
for
thing. Is like,
us,
why would you? That's the real problem.
Yeah, both of them don't like the U.S. and like the Western nations, so I think that's not.
But
cool.
they don't particularly like each other too much either. That's the other thing. Like there was the Sino-Soviet split way back, so they're not on best of terms either.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm not too familiar with that.
Tell
me what you know.
I cannot speak too much, but I know at some point essentially
what your idea
the
is of it.
Chinese Communist government split from being very tight with the Soviet Union over differing ideas of what communism is, essentially, and how they were going about ruling their respective nations. So it kind of caused a rift between those two powers.
Yeah.
So if you want to study more of that, it's like, I think they refer to it as the Sino-Soviet split.
Yeah, I might have to look that up for sure.
So
Thanks for
check
sharing
that out.
Yeah. And then you got North Korea over there being a fart.
Irrelevant. Not irrelevant. They are
Yeah.
dangerous, but like it is a very
There's a bigger blip on the radar right now.
yeah.
Much bigger. That's pretty good though. So we've been probably going for about an hour or so now. I'm curious, is there anything else that you were interested in bringing up? Maybe talking about the training program over at SAGA and like what your guys' plans are for like the future. I know you guys have a lot of competitive aspirations right now.
I think that's the main push that Kyle's really going for, and I think it's a good one. I enjoy that personally, so I'm going to do my best to just kind of be an example by just doing, because I'm not really like I said, I'm not the coach there or anything, so I just want to try and set a good example.
Lead by example.
Lead by example. Do the thing. Talk, like, walk the walk, don't talk the talk. Like, it's easy. Lots of people say things. Not very many people do things.
Yeah.
So I think that's the important thing, is that I keep doing the thing. That way everybody else is like, well, he's just another guy. Like, he trains a lot, but he's just a normal dude. Like, I'm just a normal guy.
Yeah.
I don't have 100,000 Instagram followers. I'm not, like I said, I'm not training 50 hours a week. I'm just a normal dude that really likes jiu-jitsu, and I happen to be okay at it.
Yeah.
So, like, my whole thing is, if I just do it more and these guys start doing it more, we can have more of the competition classes. We get more competitive. Everybody gets better. And then maybe someday we have a guy training at the gym that is able to train 40 hours a week, and he is killing it. And he is, like, one of those dudes that's making his living off jiu-jitsu, and my brother gets to be his coach, and like, he saw that and like rise through the ranks, and like that guy is here. Like I think it's more than achievable.
Yeah.
So it's just that you gotta set the fire now. Like you gotta stoke the flame.
For sure. Do you think it's important to foster, like, let's say someone wanted to do MMA, how do you create a jiu-jitsu environment that's going to really support an MMA fighter? Because I know like the training has to be different in a lot of different ways.
If somebody wanted to fight MMA and was serious about it, and I'm not, and I'm sure Kyle would say the same thing, I support that, but this might not be the place for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like, if you want to fight MMA, you need to have everything. You need a striking coach, you need a wrestling coach, you need a jiu-jitsu coach, you need a strength conditioning coach, you need your diet to be right. Like, you need to have so many aspects to get right. And it's also like, if you're the dude that comes in and is like, I'm a bucket list guy, like I want one amateur fight, it's like, all right, that's a little different. But if you're a 20-year-old, 21-year-old guy coming off his, wrestling career at Cornell or something, it's like, you might need to find the place that can cater to what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like, I would encourage them. I would point them in the right direction of where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because I'm not going to stop somebody from trying to live their thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we couldn't provide for that person, but it's definitely not the best place.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I say we, like, wherever.
Yeah.
You need to go to where you're going to make the best out of yourself.
For sure.
And I think that's important, and a lot of people don't realize that either. Like, I'm not the coach, so it's easy for me to say that, like, because this isn't my business. Like,
yeah.
And I'm not saying this specifically about our gym or anybody's. I'm just saying, like, in general, my thoughts on the whole business is like, if you have somebody that you see true potential in,
Yeah.
you have to, if you care about them at all and your ego does not stop you, like, you have to foster that, and like, then you
guide them to find the
right.
right
Then you could be a keynote in their life rather than a guy that held them back or potentially,
like stifled,
squandered it. And now anytime, say that guy does make it or that woman makes it, and anytime they're interviewed, you're now a negative rather than a positive. So like, always try and just be like the positive on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jay Regalbutto, actually, I had him on the podcast. It's interesting you brought that up.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
He fostered. We were there in the beginning. Like, he was training. Nick was training with us at Boost, twice a week, and Jay really fostered his ability to grow.
Yeah.
And like, we saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. And now look at him. He's on his own. Like, he's down there with B team and everything, and he's killing it. So I think that speaks volumes about Jay, and everybody knows that about Jay. So
you got to actually see Nicky Rod in like the infancy of, I guess, like his competitive journey there. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that. How do you see his growth? Like, how has it, like, from your perspective as someone that was training with him in the beginning there?
It's great to see. Like, like, we knew it.
Yeah, you knew it.
We know he's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
right out the gate.
It's simple.
Like,
I also think that's a testament of like, mentality plays a big part in that. Like, you see a lot of, and this goes beyond Nick too. You see, and it goes back to what I was talking about with the Hulk match, and I'm not trying to make this about myself like you just did, but they're just people. So like, when he was at ADCC and he's grappling dudes, he's got Orlando Sanchez, he's got Muhammad Ali, he's got Cyborg, he's got fucking Kynan. Yeah. Like, he 100% was just like, they're just dudes. Like, I'm gonna fucking kill them. Like, he says it in all his interviews and everything, but like, you can see him putting that mentality into practice. And I think that's important. It's just like, anybody that you see, like, if you're afraid to go compete, like, this goes to the lowest blue belt. Like, you're a blue belt and you're like, oh, I'm a one stripe blue belt. It's like, dude, who gives a fuck? Nobody cares that you're a one stripe blue belt. Yeah. They're all blue belts too. I don't care if they have 4 stripes. That dude sucks. Yeah. Like, go fuck him up.
Yeah, for real.
Like, they all suck. You suck too. It's all right. Go. Yeah. Like, go out there and do your thing. Yeah. If you lose, you lose. It sucks. Nobody likes losing. Again, nobody likes losing. Yeah. But just go do your thing. And that's something I've adopted now, because watching that happen in real time, I was like, oh, like, I should be more like that. Like, that's something that held me back in my wrestling career, in my MMA career, is just being like, they're just people, man, just like you. It's like, just go compete, just do your thing. Like, it's not, if you lose, you lose. It is what it is. Don't put so much emphasis on losing. Put all the emphasis on winning. Be like, I'm going to win. And if you don't, fucking sucks. Yeah. Get over it. But I think that's a big thing about him specifically that we saw. Yeah.
I rolled with him like a couple times in Studio 84, and it's crazy to see how someone can train to the extent of, like,
with him, he's just so strong and fast, and you don't
It's
always see that.
It's the explosiveness of
it's
it
insane.
that I think.
Dude. He could
'Cause
just
all-
ankle pick me like
all
like
heavyweights
a
are
lightning
strong.
strike. Yeah,
Like, shouldn't say all, but 99% of heavyweights are strong.
yeah,
99% of heavyweights are slow.
yeah,
So it's like now you get somebody that is heavyweight strong and lightweight fast and has the mentality that he's going to beat everybody. It's kind of like that's how you get that. That's how you get the
gifted,
situation
yeah.
that arose. Plus, he's fostered by the greatest coach with the best training partners. So that situation just everything get pounded into
Yeah,
what turned out to be an extremely great run for him.
yeah,
And still going. Obviously, he's
Yeah.
very young.
definitely, yeah.
He's like almost 10 years younger than me. Or
Yeah,
something.
for real, dude.
So-
It's crazy to even think like how much younger he is like than me. Like, cause I've seen him like in a room, and it's just like what? Like,
Yeah.
I'm 30. You know what I mean? Question for both you guys: thoughts on Nicky Rod potentially winning ADCC? Yo, great question,
That
man.
99 kilo or plus 99 is hard, man.
Yeah. So
It's Gordon. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's Gordon's to lose. I will say that. It's Gordon's to lose.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean Nick can't beat him. That doesn't mean Felipe can't beat him. That doesn't mean, Gutenberg Pereira just won. Brazilian trials will be there too. That dude's a motherfucker. Cyborg's there, and Cyborg's been on a tear 2021. It's definitely Gordon's to lose. Obviously, you have to go with Gordon. Like that's just
Yeah.
how it is nowadays. But yeah, he could definitely win. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think with keeping in mind that Nicky and Gordon shared a lot of the same training partners, and it seems I've never met Gordon, so I can't talk about him and what I've seen from him in person, but I was pretty frequently going to studio when I saw Nicky, and the devotion he has in the game, it's what you need to beat a Titan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't talk on in terms of any of these other guys, but I'm very excited to see the results, and I think Nicky's even said this like on other things as well, where he is training for the purpose of beating
Right.
Gordon.
And I mean, as everybody is, that's the man right now. Like
Yeah.
you want to beat the best person, and if you don't, then you shouldn't be there. Like, if you're just there to be there, then this kind of bullshit. Like, fucking go home. Like,
Yeah.
like you're in that tournament, you want to beat. Like, you should be salivating at the chance to be like, I want him first round. Like, I'm gonna knock him off fast.
Yeah.
So, and I think he is the type of dude that thinks that way.
Yeah.
So it
As
gives
quickly as I can get this out of the way, the rest is gonna be.
I don't even think it's as quickly as I can. It's the one I want.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
don't
right.
care,
Like
you
he's
know
just
what I
got
mean?
crosshairs on it. I see what you're saying. Okay.
So again, like I'm not like great personal friends with him or anything, but yeah, it's Gordon to lose, and anybody else can win it because that division is so hard,
Yeah.
and that's how I look at it. So
Yeah, I think it's that division is so hard indeed. I think that's pretty much the grand stage.
oh yeah, and who knows else who gets invited? It could be Gabriel Hosha could come back. There's tons of great heavyweights. There's tons. There's
Yeah.
so many. So.
What do you? Just because I'm just thinking about now that we're talking about the heavyweight stuff, and you mentioned earlier about training with Amanda. What's your take on her beating Gabby Garcia?
That was fucking shit,
That
dude.
was
That was
so
the best.
awesome. That was such a great
That was
fight,
awesome.
man. What was your thoughts on that whole who's number one? That card was incredible. You had a lot of upsets.
That
man.
card was incredible. Specifically, going to the Amanda and Gabby match is like anybody that knows her and like her and her boyfriend are friends of ours.
Yeah.
She's friends with my girlfriend and everything. Like anybody that knew that coming up, like you knew, like she's gonna do it. Like
Yeah.
this is her times now. Like Gabby, we just knew what was going to happen. It was finally awesome to see the world get to see what everybody else that's like seen her training over the
Yeah.
past couple of years, even from the time she was like a kid. Like everybody saw the potential, but if you've seen her train the past couple of years, you're like, oh, the potential is gonna hit. It's gonna be crazy. And she did it on a world stage, and it was against who everybody says is the unbeatable giant. And it was
Yeah.
awesome to see. So
For sure, man.
I'm really happy for her.
Do you have any matches that you are really excited to see, like coming up, or maybe a dream match that you'd really like to see between two guys?
Like somebody, I don't really know what's coming up. I mean, hopefully if everything goes well, if I can get everything planned out and going, I'll be at West Coast Trials at the end of the month. So
You're going.
Yeah,
Let's
so,
go, bro. That's awesome.
So if everything financially works out and military orders and everything, which seem to be good right now, so yeah, hopefully I'll be out there competing. And that's kind of, I keep it simple, like keep my baby steps. So I love competing against the best in the world. So if I have that opportunity again, I already had one shot, I'd like it again. So if it's anybody, you know, like a Cyborg or a, you know, Gabriel Hosha or a Kynan or somebody like that, like anybody, because like my brother said the same thing when he was on here, man. I'm 5 steps above a high school janitor. Like if I lose to this dude, whatever. Like everybody thought that.
Yeah.
If I even have a good match against this guy and he doesn't submit me, or I take him down and he looks bad, it's like that could be the worst night of his life. He looks like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know, like, but then if you beat him, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It changed everything about it. That's all it takes. Look at Eddie Bravo, beats Hoyler, whole life changed. Done.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
Yep.
So opportunities like that are awesome, and I think I would take honestly any of them. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
that's really awesome. Is there a rematch that you'd like?
No.
Not a rematch guy. Yeah. I think a common theme I hear on the podcast, and I even reflect this, is like any match I've ever lost, I want to run back on that person. That's usually the general gist of that.
Yeah, I guess, but like,
yeah, you're just looking at for the next big target, pretty much. You just want. I'm
trying
the
to not.
Thing you can get to.
A big problem throughout, like I was saying earlier, a big problem has always been focusing on not losing.
Yeah.
So now if I like I lost, it's just like let it die. Like you lost, just it sucks. It is what it is. Just like fuck it. Just like get over it. So.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, dude, I think we've been going for quite a while now. I'll let you have the stage for any like final sentiments you want, but I'll let you get out of here. Maybe I'll head up to train with you guys pretty soon. I definitely want to film a technique video. Hopefully we can make it wrestling and MMA oriented. We'll figure something out, man.
Yeah, dude, it'd be fun.
Always, I'll say this too, like for the end. Every role I've had with you and your brother is just like fucking fighting a wall, dude. Like I remember we were just doing the like King of the Guard kind of exercise for comp class last night, and like I saw you down. I'm like, all right, I'm going. Like I love to just get in and feel you guys out, and just immediately you're just like, no, like
I think I did like a butterfly elevation into like attempted X guard, and then I took your back, and you were just like, what the fuck?
Fucking A, dude. It's like it's so fun to fight, like to go against a guy who's like vastly greater in skill and strength, but doesn't need to use it, because it's just
that took a long time to figure out.
Yeah,
like going back to the beginning, my original jiu-jitsu coach, the guy that gave me my black belt, was 135 pounds. So
yeah,
I learned like small guy jiu-jitsu essentially, not really like true small. I don't invert, I don't do any of that, but like a lot of the butterfly guard and stuff like that, and like X guard. I used to be a big X guard player for purely jiu-jitsu stuff. I'm trying to get back into it now. Like a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like it took me a while to not just want to like, oh, I'm going to hold you down and just stick the point of my elbow in your neck.
Yeah.
I still do that. Like if you see my matches from finishers, like it's like
for sure
some goon level stuff, but it's different. That's competition. Like
exactly.
I'm trying to win,
and
I'm not giving you any opportunity to like take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to make
there's
every
a bitch switch that turns.
I'm going to make every
on,
second of this match absolutely suck for you. I don't care if, like I said, like I'm sticking my cauliflower ear in your fucking eye. Like,
yeah, dude, I remember you said that shit on like at the bar.
Just fucking
your cauliflower ear is like a finger, dude. It's like a thumb. It's so hard.
I think I read it in like I think Randy Couture said it in an interview. He's like, yeah, get somebody against Cage, just shove it in there. And I was like, it's not a bad idea.
That's awesome.
So, like you get side control, you just bury it in there and just shake it around a little bit. Take your chin, stick it in their temple. Like just like call it dirty if you want, man, but like we're all here to win.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it out of malice. I'm not doing it like, if anything, it's disrespectful if I don't do it, because that means I'm not fucking trying to win.
Yeah.
And that's disrespectful to you, because that means whatever you think it means. But
yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I think I definitely would rather see someone, give me all of that energy like in a competitive match, because for one, to your point, you know they're trying like their best because they're pulling everything out and they're taking this match seriously. But for two, it means I'm allowed to do it. Like my honor can't get in the way. Like it's like, oh, like we're playing this game now. So
No,
like,
it's all even. Like if
Yeah.
I'm doing it and you do it back, I'm not gonna act like a little fucking bitch about it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. It's like
we're both trying to win.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just how I see things. So
yeah. That's good shit. So I'll ask you this final question. If let's say any MMA aspiring MMA fighters out there, do you have any advice for their journey?
yeah, make sure before you even start, just like take a look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, am I willing to train as hard as I possibly can every day for a fight? That includes everything that comes with that. That includes, you know, missing your girlfriend's birthday dinner because you have to go to bed at 9 o'clock because, you know, training, sleep's important to your recovery and everything else. It includes maybe you can't go to your niece's, you know, first birthday because it's Saturday and it's sparring day and you need your good rounds in, or like, are you willing to make all those sacrifices and then do that all year, have your fight, and get knocked out in 13 seconds, and then get back up and do it all over again? If your answer is no, then you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
What about like street beefs? Do you watch that?
no.
Is there training for a street beef? But that was a great final sentiment, man. I appreciate you coming on to the show,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I'm
Thanks for
looking
having
forward
me.
to having you guys
Appreciate
on
it.
again. We'll have to definitely get some more training in. I'm excited to keep coming. Make sure you guys check out Saga. I gotta say, I've been visiting since I've been having you Saga guys on, and it's been awesome, man. The training there it's some of the best training I've had in a really long time.
It's good. We'd like to hear that. We're trying to maybe figure it out. If I can talk to Kyle, we might add another one of those Monday style classes. We don't know where yet, but
Yeah.
What's
the schedule look like, just for anyone curious about visiting?
So we're open 7 days. They are open 7 days a week. There is beginners class at 6 on Mondays, and then the competition class is at 7. Tuesdays it's a no-gi class at 7. Wednesdays is a gi class at 7. So pretty much 7. We're always rolling, and then on the weekends it's 10 a.m. Saturdays no gi, Sundays gi. It's a takedown-oriented class with arguably one of the best wrestling jiu-jitsu coaches you can find in the area. You know, wrestled Division I, coached at 2 different Division I programs, brown belt in jiu-jitsu, fast learner, still young. He's only 35. Like, he's not like an old guy. So he can still, at 140 pounds, can fuck a lot of dudes up.
Yeah, can match that pace with any of these young dogs. But that's awesome, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.